no, I have no budget. Nobody knows who I am. This is my first show. But it doesn't matter because I want to do it right and I want to honor the project properly and not present something that's not quite what it's supposed to be.
Kyle, thank you so much for your time today. I know this is a hectic one for you. We are seeing you in your work environment, really, because you are part of a performance of Cinderella. It's closing night for you. And with all that craziness, you take time out of your schedule to do interviews. So thank you so much. How are you doing today?
I'm great. I'm feeling excited and sad all at the same time. This has been a really cool to work on.
Yeah, for sure. And then why we're here talking, obviously, is as we're recording in a week from now, we will have the Kylira show, the big, well, it is both an album release show, but it's also much more than that, right? So we'll go into that in just a second, but how are you feeling for that? I know that you are excited and sad that Cinderella's coming to an end, but what about that own show that's coming in a few days? Is that becoming real for you already?
Not yet. I think I've been preparing for it nonstop
Right.
throughout doing this show as well. But I know I have my tech week, I guess, starts today after
Yeah.
this show. So I'm going to be in full prep mode then. I have mostly everything ready. I think there's just a few things that I need to finalize. The band hasn't even gotten together yet to jam. So two of our musicians are from Quebec.
Right.
And one's coming down today. The other one's coming Wednesday. So we won't get a full band rehearsal till Thursday. So that's kind of, but we're all pros, so I'm not worried about it. We've been practicing remotely and yeah. So that's it. That's all that's left to do is get the band together and do
There you go. There you go. There you go. And I mean, you go by the nickname, the Singing Swordstress. No swords for Cinderella, I think. So you're excited to hold your sword again?
I am. It's quite a different character than Cinderella. Just a little different. So Kylira is kind of a mix between Xena and Indiana Jones, I want to say. So she solves mysteries and she tracks monsters and kind of gets called to assist with things or called for help with different villages, plagued by a monster, stuff like that. But there's always some sort of mystery involved. And usually at the end of it, we find out the monster is not what we thought it was or something that's tameable. So she kind of just starts collecting these things.
Yeah.
On my website, you can see each song pertains to a different creature for the first album. And you can read the stories right on the site and kind of see my menagerie I've been collecting along the way.
You mentioned already, like on your website, you invite your audience to kind of participate. It's not just, the audience doesn't just listen, if you will. It's almost like a murder mystery kind of approach for the fans. So you already kind of went well outside of the usual confinements of an album with the live show, bringing it, almost like a Broadway show to life with this game that people can play with you. When you think beyond that, is for you then a next step? Oh, we want to work on a next album with new stories, or are there different kinds of media you want to explore more? Like, should we expect a Kylira book, a comic book, movie, stuff like that? To keep building on top of the world that you started building.
Yeah, right now, I mean, I've definitely thought about graphic novels and turning right now. So how it is when I release a song, You get a portion of the story each week leading up to the song, usually about 4 weeks. I'll do a portion of the story. And right now they're just kind of written out, but it would be so cool to do a graphic novel and turn those stories into stories with art and immersing you into it. And that's kind of also the vision I have for when I start doing music videos and have the budget for that, kind of making these little mini movies as music videos. And the live show really ties all that in. So the story continues in the live show. No two live shows will ever be the same. So the story continues. Every time you come see me perform live, you get new parts of the story. New parts of the character are revealed, my backstory, my origin. That kind of gets revealed a little bit more and more each time you come see me perform. So you can come to the same concert and I'll play the same music, but there will be added elements that are different. So it is very much a blending of my theater life and a typical metal show with theatrical elements, where I do have a script for this show, but that it's not going to be the same script every time. So the way that I perform it on Saturday is the only way you'll ever see it done that way. So don't miss it.
We obviously know that you are at home in the theater. I mean, you're quite literally in a theater right now. Is it as simple as, well, you're basically bringing together the worlds that you're comfortable with, or is there a massive amount of holy shit to what you're doing? Because let's be honest, it's not normal for a metal album to be released with a full-blown, Broadway style show coming to life with more than just musicians. That's pretty exceptional to do. Something that many bands, especially bands that are just getting started, would automatically dismiss of we might want to do that one day, but there's no way we can do that as a newer act, with limited budgets and all that kind of good stuff. Somehow you come across as not really thinking that way. Help me understand what that mental journey for you is like. Like, well, obviously I'm going to do this, and this, and on top of that, we're doing that as well.
I think it just comes with my type A personality of go big or go home. I want to do this thing. I want to do it right. I don't want to settle. I don't want it to be something. I don't want to present a project. Okay, here's my mentality. My mentality is, what do I want this show to look like in the next 5 years? Okay. Well, if I want to be there in 5 years, where does it have to be now to be on that on the right trajectory? If I start presenting myself to the world in a certain way, but I want it to go that way eventually, I have to make sure I'm starting on the right path.
Right.
So it's just really a matter of planning ahead, and not selling myself short, even though, no, I have no budget. Nobody knows who I am. This is my first show. But it doesn't matter, because I want to do it right, and I want to honor the project properly and not present something that's not quite what it's supposed to be. Whether that means I'm completely in debt after the show, which may happen. It's okay, because it'll be worth it in the end to say, I did it the way I wanted to. It's not going to be exactly what I want. If I had more of a budget, I'd have way more going on.
Right.
I've really had to tone it down from what my vision is already. But still, the idea of playing dive bars and just small gigs, I have no interest in that. That's not what the show is. It's not a typical rock show.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to start out putting myself in that category. I wanted to already present myself as being something completely different.
without
Mm.
giving away too many secrets, what can, if this is not your average rock show, what can we expect?
Yeah, so I just, I'm so passionate about fully immersing people into an experience. So as soon as you get there, you're going to be kind of surrounded by this atmosphere. So the opening act is a dance troupe. Um, it's going to be like you're surrounded by ghosts, and they're going to come out intermittently a little bit throughout the show as well. Um, and kind of just be hanging around, you know? So you're just
Mhm.
surrounded by this atmosphere. Um, and we're going to have an actor, one actor, his name is Kieran. I've worked with him before in my theater life. He's going to be playing two characters in the show. One of them is going to kind of reveal a bit more of Kylira's backstory, and the other is the Cobra King. He is the monster from the song Voodoo. So while that song is playing, he's going to come out as that character with some of the dancers, and there's going to be a little performance there. Um, and there will be a pretty epic sword fight that occurs. There's going to be harp playing. Um, yeah, just a whole mixture of goodies.
Yeah. Awesome, awesome. Now, you said before, like, well, if you see me twice, you'll get a different, you'll get different elements of the story, if you will. So every show is unique. This is
Yeah.
obviously the big, debut show and the album release. Um, so what, for the people that either are coming and they want to see more sides to the story, or people that can't be in Toronto for the opening show, what can they keep their eyes open for following shows?
Following shows. So right now, my concept is kind of to do one big show, kind of advertising the album, promoting the album, and then writing for however long I need to write. So the this concept album is the same character, but it's monsters, creatures. The next album is going to be gods and goddesses. So same character, but kind of a different era, dealing with different mythology. And then each album's going to kind of continue on like that. So this character isn't bound by time or place.
Okay.
I never really state what time she's from or where she is in the world. Um, and there's a reason for that, which will be revealed.
Hmm. Given all the experience that you have with, like, for example, now Cinderella, is there do you ever like join a theater production where you go like, it would be fun to turn this particular thing, like a more known story, less original story, in and giving it the Kylira treatment, if you will? Are you taking elements from these stories into your own stories?
I mean, I'm sure that all of the things I've experienced in life have given me ideas and inspiration for my own stories. Surely, when I was a kid, I constantly was reading sci-fi fantasy books. I watched every movie ever, and I was movies really moved me. They really inspired me. Um, I'd be like this 10-year-old kid in the theater, and I'd be crying and laughing, and just like stories really moved me, and that's something that I wanted to pass on to other people. And
Hmm.
I'm just really passionate about inspiring people. And part of the show too is I'm hoping inspires other emerging artists to just put yourself out there and not worry about, well, what about, nobody knows me, nobody cares. Like, just do what you want to do, and
Hmm.
eventually people will notice. And how you present yourself to the world is going to be how the world views you, and you're in control of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is it, with all that you say, not to not to be disrespectful to the album, but is in a way with the importance that you put on the visual aspect, and you said like, you love movies and how they've moved you. Is it
Mhm.
then fair to, because this show has been labeled as an album release show, but is it fair to say that your album is very much in support of the live show, and that the live show is the most important thing for you?
Um, I'm not sure because the live show was kind of an afterthought. Originally, I was just going to do like a listening party
Okay.
when the album was finished. And then it kind of turned into, well, let's just like do an actual show and play the album. And I'm like, okay, but where I want this to go, I can't just play it. It doesn't, I have to explain, what's happening. So that kind of just snowballed into where it is today. Um, but I've put as much care and passion and time that I put into the show, I put into each and every song. Um, so, I want each song to be its own immersive experience as well.
Yeah.
So it has a lot of my music has influences from, me growing up um, listening to alt rock, listening to metal, and my classical background. So a lot of operatic and symphonic elements mixed in there. And a lot of the feedback I've gotten so far about the music is that it kind of feels like it's from a different time, but like not a time you can really place. And I think it's just because there's so many different influences from different times that are in the music. And I want that. I want the music to transport you to somewhere else and be really immersive in that sense.
Right. Well, everybody will be immersed in a whole different level. Type A personality, absolutely. Oh, let's not do a listening party. Let's do a live listening party with a whole production for everybody together in a beautiful venue in Toronto. I obviously wish you the best with this, not well with the show and with the album's release, and seeing how the story will unfold, and everybody can, go on that journey with you and figure out more about the backstory and the monsters and eventually the gods and goddesses as well. Kylie, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. I know how busy you are. Thank you so much, and have a fantastic closing night for Cinderella as well. And I hope you can enjoy that first before you have to worry about the show next week.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Something that's real, want somewhere I know nothing. Masochistic English me something.
You are awesome for watching this video. Click right here to see more content like it and subscribe to the channel.